ahead and call the July 28th meeting of the Salina City Commission to order. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Mayor Vanier.
Here.
Commissioner Jelka.
Here.
Commissioner Larson.
Here.
Commissioner Peck.
Here.
Commissioner Perney.
Here.
I'd like to invite everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance in a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And now's the Citizens Forum, a time that citizens can come before the Commission to provide their comments on anything that is not on the official agenda. Is there anyone here from the public that would like to speak? Yes, sir. Would you please come forward and state your name and your address?
Okay. Fellow citizens and council members, David Wheel, ex-Army vet, almost 20 years in the service, and out here working about 25 years or so. So I'd like to address a comment here. It was in the newspaper last Sunday. There, let me adjust this a spec. There. Last Sunday in the Salina Journal, there was a newspaper article in there. I've been doing a little bit of research on this. And my fellow councilmen, the article is this. I didn't read all of it for lack of time and money. I'm a disabled Army vet, but anyway, that's beside the point. Here we go now. We might get a little bit of impetus or input on this issue. My friend and I were discussing this, and it's about city taxation on the hotels and motels in the Salina area. Now, one reason again this would be this. We'll call it the country talk. Again, you know what I mean, against this. There's not steady tourism yearly in this area here. It's only part of the year. So I would suggest some input on this and some other replies from our audience. Hopefully, let's say hopefully and prayerfully the city will will hold off on taxation this year, because I also read utilities are going up all over the nation. Electric up as much as 10% from California to New York, and it was in this Christian Science Monitor newspaper and library, and I thought, gee, whoa, horse, I better come down here and speak again this here raised by the city, because let's hold the line. You're going to kill a lot of business in the area, and we don't want to see that, do we? Do we, audience? We'd like to see Salina prosper rather than de-prosper. Thank you. Close of my comments, and any other citizens who would like to reply for or against this. Remember, freedom of speech is a constitutional right. So come up and, no swearing, it's just all good comments in good order. Because remember, this city council meeting, and we're all citizens and have a little bit of impetus on this here, so it won't affect your pocketbook when you go out and be a tourist part-time once in a year or something, But, there aren't enough tourism in point of interest. Get this now. There's not enough tourism in the area here, especially old or new town areas of Salina, to grant taxation at this time. It's just a real bad time of the year, just floating into August and September to we'll call it, watch, get a little humor, raise the taxation any further. Okay, I close my comments. Thank you, my fellow citizens and councilmen.
Thank you very much. Is anyone else here? We'll go on to awards and proclamations.
Item 4.1, Resolution number 086532, expressing gratitude and appreciation to Keith F. Rawlings for his employment with the City of Salina from April 16, 1973 to July 31, 2008.
Resolution number 086532, a resolution expressing gratitude and appreciation to Bicentennial Center Manager Keith F. Rawlins for his employment with the City of Salina from April 16, 1973 to July 31, 2008. Whereas during the period from April 16, 1973 to July 31, 2008, Keith Rawlins served as Director of Planning and Community Development of the Administration and Planning Department, Risk Manager of the Risk Management Department, and Bicentennial Manager for the Bicentennial Center of the City of Salina. And whereas Keith F. Rollins has demonstrated invaluable and dedicated service to the City of Salina, and whereas such service and dedication to his job and the interest of the City of Salina are worthy of public recognition. So now, therefore, be it resolved by the governing body of the City of Salina, Kansas, Section 1, that an official expression of gratitude and appreciation to Keith F. Rollins for his dedicated and faithful service as Director of Planning and Community Development of the Administration and Planning Department, Risk Manager of the Risk Management Department, and Bicentennial Center Manager for the Bicentennial Center of the City of Salina, Kansas. Section 2, that the City Clerk is hereby directed to have this resolution delivered to Keith F. Rollins, adopted by the Board of Commissioners and signed by the Mayor this 28th day of July 2008. John Vanier, Mayor. Keith, could you come forward?
Well, I really don't have a lot to say. I'd like to say that every day that I spent here was just wonderful. I can't say that, but the vast majority of those days were. And looking back, it seems like it just zips past. It's hard to believe that it's been 35 years with the city, but I truly appreciate this, and thank you very much.
Mayor, I would move we adopt resolution number 08-6532 expressing gratitude and appreciation to Keith Rollins for his employment with the city.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt resolution number 086532 expressing our gratitude and appreciation to Keith F. Rollins. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Public hearings and items scheduled for a certain time.
Item 5.1, citizen comments on the 2009 budget proposal.
And this is just an item scheduled for a certain time. This is not a public hearing. Are there any citizens that would like to come forward for comments on the 2009 budget proposals? Seeing none, we'll go on to the consent agenda.
Item 6.1, approve the minutes of July 21st, 2008.
Mayor, I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0. Development business.
Item 7.1, application number Z08-6, requesting a change in zoning district classification from C3 district to PC3 district with an outdoor storage permitted on property address as 1320 Armory Road. Sub-item 7.1A, first reading ordinance number 08-10456.
Mr. Andrew.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor and Commissioners, the property that's the subject of this application is the former Food for Less grocery store. That property is addressed off Armory Road. I think most people think of it as being adjacent to Broadway Boulevard. That building was constructed in 1979, and records show that it was used principally as a grocery store continuously up until about a year and a half ago, where it was vacated. The property is owned by Falgers Incorporated out of Lincoln, Nebraska, and back in February, a contract purchaser applied to the Planning Commission for a conditional use permit to convert that to a climate-controlled mini-storage facility. That conditional use permit application was approved, but that transaction fell through, and the purchase and conversion of the building never took place. Compro Realty has secured a new contract purchaser for the property, and they are interested in purchasing it and adaptively reusing it. and their primary business is wholesale electrical supply, but they also have a retail component to their business, and they have a retail showroom as part of their operation. And because of the retail showroom, they were not interested in a isolated industrial location, but wanted to have a visible high-traffic location. So their proposal is to renovate and reuse the existing grocery store footprint and floor plan. And the north side of the building, the main entrance to the grocery store, would be converted to a retail showroom, and they'd also have offices and meeting space there. The remainder of the building towards the rear or south would be devoted to storage and warehouse space. If it were not for the retail showroom that they have, it would not fit within the C3 district there that is also occupied by Kmart. They've indicated to us that as part of their operation, they were requesting that an outdoor storage area be permitted on either the south or east side of the building. The C3 district, while allowing their retail showroom, would not allow the outdoor storage component of their business. So rather than looking at a change to a more intense zoning classification that might not be compatible with the Kmart, Arby's, and Kentucky Fried Chicken retail type businesses there, they submitted a plan for a planned commercial district and showed two possible outdoor storage locations, one to the south and one to the east of the building. The planned commercial district allows both Planning Commission and City Commission to go in and authorize exceptions or deviations from specific development limitations. And the specific development limitation here is the limitation on outdoor storage. The property has been zoned C3 since 1979 and again used primarily as a grocery store. It's been empty about a year and a half. The showroom that's being talked about here would put a vacant retail building back into productive use. But this is the type of business that probably wouldn't be considered as prime retail business. So one question would be whether the property requested for rezoning is suitable for this type of use or for more prime retail use, and whether this exception is needed to make this a viable use of the property. If you're familiar with the area, it is a heavily traveled corridor on Broadway, carries over 21,000 vehicles a day. Kmart and Ace Hardware serve as kind of the retail anchors. There are also a number of restaurants. This core area between Armory and South is all Zone C3. South side of Armory Road has a number of contractors' offices, and the zoning there has been changed to I-1. They are not proposing any additions or exterior changes to the building. The footprint and the appearance of the building should not really change except for the addition of outdoor storage. There was quite a bit of discussion at the Planning Commission about where the storage ought to be and how it should be secured. The owners of the property expressed, or the potential owners expressed, a preference for an east side location for the storage. And the recommendation from the Planning Commission was to give them the option of using both the east and the south side for storage. They conducted a public hearing on the 15th of July, and at the close of that hearing recommended approval of the requested change to PC3 with limited outdoor storage, and their motion authorized up to 4,200 square feet of total area to be used on the east and south side of the building, and that would be enclosed by a powder-coated chain-link fence up to 8 feet in height. And again, that was conditioned on the fact that they were using the existing building as is and the existing footprint. So that comes to you with a recommendation to approve the request, and the attached ordinance on the agenda for your consideration reflects the Planning Commission's recommendation. You can endorse that recommendation and approve that on first reading, or if you disagree with the recommendation, you can return that back to the Planning Commission with 3 votes in that regard. With that, I'd be happy to address any questions about the report or any of the attachments.
Questions of staff? No questions? Public comment? Now to bring it back to the commission for action. Yes, sir.
Again, David Wheel, just one thought. That company may need the original plan. It's just a thought of action because, usually suppliers need lots of room for their supplies. Just take that into consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bring it back to the commission for action.
This looks like a case where the Planning Commission has really been thorough, and it also looks like a little more positive prospect for the neighborhood, I think, than the last proposal on this site. So I would move that ordinance number 08-10,456 be approved as submitted.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve on first reading ordinance number 08-10456. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0. Administration.
Mayor Vanier, I move that the City Commission recess into executive session for 30 minutes in order to discuss with the city attorney a matter subject to the attorney-client privilege for the reason that public discussion could waive the privilege and jeopardize the city's position in the matter, and to discuss a matter involving non-elected city personnel for the reason that public discussion of the matter would violate the privacy rights of the non-elected city personnel involved, and reconvene in this room at 4:50.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to go into executive session. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0. Do you anticipate any action?
We do not.
Okay, thank you. We're in executive session.